Hello, hello. Wherever you happen to be located on this transcendent planet we call Earth, I truly hope you are having a simplistic day, evening, or night, wherever you happen to be located. Today, on my Blender channel, my topic deals exclusively with Blender. So, if you're dealing with Maya, Houdini, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, or whatever. I'm sorry, but the topic today is truly just a Blender issue. But you are welcome to stay if you know anything about Blender to see what I'm going to talk about. My subject for the day is I've been using the shader editor for roughly a month now. Roughly a month. So I'm not no complete guru yet. My understanding is growing daily how to manipulate it. But the biggest hurdle is now I do understand it. So I can graduate to higher and higher levels. My topic of the day is when you're using that when you have no Wrangler hooked up and you want to click from like from in the texture coordinates, you want to go from generated to normal, UV, on down that list. When you have the no Wrangler setup, it'll show you the shape of all them colors that you see right here. I've been watching many videos on paid websites and on free websites such as YouTube. I've been seeing the colored object that you see right here, texture, coordinates, colored block, but nobody ever tried to explain what them damn colors mean. And most of them use the object option, but they never said what they mean, them colors. So, being an inquisitive person that I am, I try to explain it to myself what those colors mean. And I'm going to try to explain it to you. So if I make any mistakes, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You can give me more details or clarify my understanding in the comment section. I'm just going to give you the little information that I've gathered, that I know. So I'm on my shape right here. We see I'm using texture generated. When they show you that colored object with no texture added to it, because there's no texture. So this how I look with no texture. We see it's a diversified colors. We see it has where my mouse at, a cyan bluish color. At the bottom where my mouse at is darker blue. And also the top portion that my mouse is over is larger. Then the next section to the bottom right is a reddish or magenta color. Then after I go up, the cube is more white. But the biggest areas encompassed by a type of color is the white section to the right and a cyan section to the left. So I'm assuming right there, since they large, maybe my shape, my texture should look large right there. Then since it's got different colors, cyan, blue, magenta, maybe it will have some color right there. Maybe. So let me hook up my BSD to it, and now let's see how it looks. And we see the object for my wrong texture. And before I go more, I hope you can see my textures clearly. I try to zoom in. I'm using the texture coordinate, the mapping where my mouse at, Verano texture where my mouse at, the standard brewer that come with no wrangler, and the pencil BFDF and material. But you see, the shapes are larger here and has a diversified amount of colors. So, in a way, the basic colors from generated sort of match up with my texture. The shapes are large, etc. And you can see right here, the shapes move. That's more important too, because for some reason the texture is the shape is probably endless. If I had like an image, it would be limited, but it's nearly limitless. This texture right here, you see this? I can go all the way. It is limitless, but they all have the same size and they're both colorful. Let me go down to my next one. Let me hook up my viewer. I'm gonna go to, if possible, normal. All right, right there, we see the normal texture coordinate normal. It has one color. No matter how I move it, one color. I move it left and right, up and down. There's one color. Put it back in top mode. So let me see how my principal SDF look. Zap! One color. Now, you may be thinking that that's the only color, but it's not. This is still that Verona texture. It has looked massive. Let's look large. So watch. When I go to my mapping, I go to my X, you see the colors changing. So it's still the Verona texture, but everything is fills up the shape completely. I'm gonna go there and see, look, it fills up completely. It's still got all them unique colors. See, look at that. It's still got all those unique colors in the Verona texture, but it's just large. Like what you saw when I went back to my texture right there. There's one color, blue, solid. When I went to my BS principal shader, one color, but it's diversified. You see right there. So we see that matched up. Let me hook back up my viewer. Let's go down to UV. Let's see what they give us. Okay, once more, we see the UV has a diversified amount of colors. So maybe my image is going to have a diversified amount of colors. I have green all the way in my little corner. It's black where my mouse at. As I move over to the right, it's become reddish. Then as I go up, it becomes more yellow. But it's a diversified amount of color. And it's yellow. It's taking up most of the space. And it's green. It's taking up most of the space. So let's see how the BSDF shader look. Once more, you see, a diversified amount of colors. And the objects look larger. It's still the Verona texture. See, it's still the texture. Like I said, it goes on. That's the good thing about these textures. They may go on and on forever to the computer space you get used up. It goes on and on. But you see right here, my object is large. See, I'm just trying to give it some understanding what them colors mean. If I make a mistake, let me know. I'm just trying to give a logical reason to them colors. What do those colors mean? All right, let me go down to my next one. Let me hook up my viewer again. Let me hook up my viewer. See what it gives me now. Hook the viewer up. I did UV. Let me go to object. Okay, now we see the object is distinct. Multiple colors. Green, black, red, and yellow. But all the colors seem to be, they merge into each other for gradient. But they seem to be relatively the same size. Relatively. So let's see how the shader look. You see the objects, these look relatively, I ain't saying perfectly, relatively the same size. They have a diverse amount of colors. Diverse. As you see earlier, when I go back to here, one color is not taking up the entire area. They're basically the same shape, etc. So, right here, nearly the same size shape. Nearly, I ain't say perfectly, but nearly. So I understand that. Like I said, I'm trying to give myself an understanding what these damn colors mean. Trying to. And if I move it around, see, it's rigid. If I click on my viewer, let me go to the viewer. You see the colors are rigid, nothing is moving. So it's carried over, rigid, non-moving. Let me go down to my camera. I'm on camera. But now look what happened. When I move the camera, the colors are moving. And one more thing too, with like a camera, it looks blue, but it's not. It looks light blue, but it's not. This is the, as I move around more, you see it's white. This is still the Verona texture. But I just can move it around now like this, and you see different colors. And all colors are basically the same dimensions. It's just hard to tell though. Same dimensions. So, let me put it on my BSDF and see how that looks. Okay, remember, they was gigantic, huge. So this is trying to squash all them shapes in. Let me move it around. You see right there? It's moving. It's organic like. So it's carrying the same characteristics as that camera rig. The colors are moving. Other ones, it was static. So that's the property of the camera. The colors or your image is dynamic and moving. So remember that. It's moving. Organic like. So we see that. It's moving. Nothing is stagnant. Okay, so now we understand that a little bit better. The camera view. Let me go down to the next one. Window. All right. Window. The colors, I'm looking at it. It's moving around dynamically. And they all about the same, roughly the same size. And we can see more of them fit into here. But they're still large. So, let me see how that look in the viewer. See? A diversified amount of colors. Up at the top right here is a greenish color. At the bottom, I don't see no, but it's all basically all reddish. And over to my right, upper right, is more yellowish. But the top, most of it is greenish and a yellowish. And that's why, remember, diverse colors, not one color. I see green and some yellow and red. So now when I come back to we see it got diverse colors. And one more thing too, I'm going to test something out. Let me see if it can move. Hold on. And look at that. See the color is moving. Now it's yellow. It's more red. It's more red. You see that? Reddish. Or it's getting darker. Red is getting darker red. See, it's moving. It's organic. Let me put it back to my BSDF and see if it's going to be still moving. You see that? It's still moving. So I got some, I understand that a little bit. The shapes was large and it's moving. So if you want to elongate your object, you can use that. So we understand that. Let me go down to once more. Here's my window. I like to put it in top view. See, right there it's blue. But I'm going to move it around and see if I can move the stuff. I'm going to put it to 0. 0. So if I move the locations in my mapping, nothing don't happen. But what happened when I move around? See, when I move it around physically, it's still blue, but there's different shades of blue. It's still blue. It's still blue, but there's a different shade of blue. I see a little bit purple right there. Okay, so we know it's a little, that was real purple now. So it's composed of different colors, but one color gonna take up the area more than the other. So let's see. And hook up my BSDF. See, one primarily color. What happened when I move it? Let me see if I move this around. See, there it go. Now, I'm gonna try something else. Let me put it back up here. See if I use my. Now the colors don't move with the mapping part, or does it? Let me move it around. See, the mapping don't make it move. When it's just on this normal viewer session, I have to move it around physically. But when I hook up the BSDF, but then top mode, I have to. That's one. I can move it. See, I can still move it. Look at that. It's moving. And reflections is moving. And there's actually like an actual reflection moving, but it's large too. Let me go back and see how I look. But there's many colors And that's why I show all the other colors. As many colors as you can see. So when that reflection is activated, it's still going to show a diversified amount of colors. So it's still have to show a diversified amount of colors. The colors are diverse. And it's dynamic when I move it. So I'm going to put it back here. Just, yeah. Put it on top view. Oh, yes. And see, when I move it right here, it's doing the same. So that's the characteristics of reflections. When your object moves, the scene will change. So you have to think about, when do you want to use the reflection? When do you need to use the reflection? But I'm going to see my understanding gaining more than before. Before, when we watch all them other videos, I just saw them colors pop up and no one explained what the colors mean. No one explained. But I now have an idea. Let me use my location, see? And it even moves with the location. Since it's an actual texture on there now, well, one with texture is moving with these textures. And you see it take up when I'm looking at from the top view, the whole texture, the whole color's taking over. When I put it in, when I'm on an angle, it shows different colors. So, that's basically good, my good people. Going over what in the world do those colors and the viewer represent? Now, I have a little idea, and I hope you do too. If I did anything wrong, please send me information and give me a message, text me, chat with me, whatever it's called, in the comments. Yeah, the comments section. Write a comment. But no one ever told me before. I had to glean the information myself with this generated, normal, UV object camera window. I know it means where the X at. I know where that's at. They should talk about where the X at. Like for object. X is in the middle. Let me put it back in object. On top. I know for object. Let me hit in. Where my pencil at? I know for object. Right here is the center 0. I know all that. I know it goes up to 1. I know it comes down at 7, -1. I know this side right here is +1, -1. I already know all that. But they never talk about what the color means. Now, I have a slight idea what those colors mean. So like I said, I'm not no expert on it. I've only been using this for roughly a month. So if I made a mistake, someone please correct me. I hope I didn't confuse anyone. Like I said, I'm inquisitive and I want to understand. At least for me, I have a slight understanding. Don't give up on your 3D art like I don't. You see, I keep pushing forward. Every person, the most accomplished 3D artist, was a beginner, struggling. So if you're new to using Blender, or you're a veteran or intermediate like I am, keep pushing and keep learning. Till the next time, Blender family, peace.